I was stuck on a parenting reality show with my 7-year-old stepdaughter. The other dads were busy making healthy meals and acting like champs when it came to spoiling their little ones. Meanwhile, I stayed up playing video games until midnight and slept until noon. Well, not straight through. My stepdaughter woke me up because she had made lunch and wanted me to come eat. Somehow, our father-daughter duo went viral online. One viewer wrote, "This little kid is working way too hard to take care of her useless dad. Ha, I'm not eating your snacks and I'm not drinking your milk, so leave me alone." The tiny girl, as fragile as a porcelain doll, shouted at me impatiently, making my head ache. With one wave of her hand, she swept the snacks and milk I was holding onto the floor. Once the pain faded, my head became clearer than ever. A flood of buried memories came rushing back, and I suddenly realized I was the psychotic side character in a novel. That side character, me, had done everything he could to marry the female lead, a CEO named Khloe Anderson who already had a daughter. Less than 6 months into the marriage, Khloe and the male lead, Liam Carter, fell for each other, both thinking they'd found their true love. Khloe asked me for a divorce, and my stepdaughter Sophie became their biggest supporter, helping them turn into a happy little family of 3. As for me, the lovesick fool of a side character, my affection turned sour. I tormented the female lead, set up the male lead, hurt my young stepdaughter, and eventually met a terrible end. After learning all of that, I was an absolute wreck. All I wanted was to get a divorce right then and get as far away from the female lead, the male lead, and the stepdaughter as possible. But right after the wedding, Khloe had gone overseas for work and hadn't come back. And before I woke up, trying to build a bond with Sophie, I had signed us up for a parenting reality show. Now Sophie and I were already with the production crew. Breaking the contract meant paying a huge fine, and I'd rather die than give up my money. So I decided to just slack off and ride it out until the show ended. The one who had just yelled at me and knocked my snacks to the floor was Sophie. The little girl looked like a fairy. Big, dark, grape-like eyes, long lashes, soft, fair skin. Her fancy pink dress made her look cute and sweet, but her attitude was just as nasty as her mother's. But the only reason Sophie was on this show with me was because I had begged her mother. I told Khloe I wanted to build a relationship with Sophie. Khloe had married me wanting a hands-off approach to parenting. So when I offered to take care of the kid, she used her authority as a mother to force Sophie to agree. As a result, Sophie had ignored me the whole trip while I shamelessly hovered over her, asking if she was okay, handing her water and snacks, acting like an old servant. But that desperate attempt to bond came from the old me, the one before I woke up. The current me had seen the light. Just thinking about how this little girl acted like a tiny ice queen around me but would instantly turn into a sweet, obedient little angel for the male lead, Liam Carter, made me lose all interest in trying to please her, even if she were my own flesh and blood. "You said you didn't want it, so I'll stop pushing." I quickly scooped all the snacks off the floor and stuffed them back into my bag, then purposely pulled out her favorite lime chips and started crunching on them. There's nothing hard in this world once you're willing to let go. Sophie let out a snort, like she didn't believe me for a second. Before my awakening, I was a total simp, a lovesick idiot. After getting signed to Khloe's entertainment company thanks to my ridiculously good looks, I poured all my energy into chasing her and completely ignored my career. A few times, I even ditched work on set just to accidentally run into her, which gave me a terrible reputation in the industry and got me roasted online. Zero professionalism. The second I appeared on screen, the live chat exploded with insults aimed at me. Ugh, that simp actually showed up. Go die. How can something so disgusting share the screen with my god Liam? Look at that little cutie Sophie next to him. This guy is desperate to be her stepdad. I heard the little cutie has some serious family backing. As for how a pretty boy like him got where he is, well, you know how it is. With that, plus the way I'd been fawning over Sophie the whole time, the comments called me a shameless toad, with skin thicker than a fortress wall, a loser, and worse. And since Sophie had completely ignored me from the beginning, only reacting with a tantrum, the viewers all praised her for being so sensible. I sighed inside. Couldn't they see I'd turned over a new leaf? I grabbed a carton of milk, tore off the plastic wrap around the straw, and poked it in. Sophie glanced at me, her little mouth curling into a smug smirk that clearly said, "No matter how much you grovel, I'm not drinking that milk you're offering." But after sticking the straw in, I didn't even offer it to her. I just started drinking it myself. The little girl's pretty face went stiff. She must have expected me to eagerly hand her the milk, playing the loving father role like before. After all, since we'd met, I'd been exactly what the viewers called me, a simp constantly trying to please her and her mom. But who knew this time I'd drink it myself? The viewers lost their minds. This is too good. Whoa, this drama is insane. What's wrong with this guy? Is he playing mind games on a 7-year-old? You're overthinking it. We got to the filming spot, a remote countryside resort in the Catskills. The guests were staying in a 3-story villa and the others hadn't arrived yet. Sophie and I each took a couch. She played with her dolls, and I played on my phone. I kept snacking. I'd been so busy hovering around Sophie before we left that I hadn't eaten breakfast. Now, after finishing the chips and some chicken wings, I moved on to cookies, dried fruit, pistachios, pistachios, everything. Sophie kept shooting me glances, her little face getting darker each time. When I picked up a straw and pierced the only bottle of her favorite Yoo-hoo in the bag, she couldn't take it anymore and jumped to her feet. If you eat everything, what's left for me? You pretty boy, you. Sophie fell for it. That pretty boy must be so proud. He's definitely going to give her all the snacks now. Sigh. So disappointing. Sophie's going to start liking him now. It's not Sophie's fault. That guy is just too sneaky. Tempting a 7-year-old like that. Who could say no? I'm a 19-year-old baby and even I couldn't resist. I put the straw into the Yoo-hoo and told Sophie, "You're the one who said you wouldn't eat my food. But I want it now. Give me the Yoo-hoo." Too late? You're the grown-up and I'm the kid. Can't you just let me have it? We're both new to this being a person thing. Why should I give in to you? Sophie's face turned even redder, but her stupid childish pride wouldn't let her back down. But I'm your daughter. You said you'd treat me like your own. Oh, that was before. Now that I'm married to your mom, I've realized we don't fit. She doesn't like me, so I'm planning to divorce her. You won't be my daughter much longer. You said it, so you can't take it back. I'm calling my mom right now to tell her you want a divorce. Kids these days are way too smart. She had seen me act pathetic in front of her mother too many times. Once I was so desperate to see Khloe, I almost threatened suicide. So even a kid like her knew I was head over heels for her mom. When I said I wanted a divorce now, Sophie thought I was just trying to scare her. I took a sip of the Yoo-hoo and nodded like a bobbing chicken. Yeah, go ahead and call her. Sophie, who clearly hadn't expected me to agree so easily, went quiet. The live chat also got unusually silent. After a moment, a comment popped up. "I don't think the pretty boy is bluffing about the divorce. Talking about divorce on the show? Is he serious? Is he really willing to give up the rich marriage he simped his way into? Maybe he's finally getting his head straight. But saying it in front of the kid is pretty bad. What's the big deal? He's just the stepdad and Sophie doesn't like him anyway. She's probably thrilled. I just can't bring myself to like him no matter what." Footsteps sounded outside the villa and the live chat went wild. But none of the new comments were about Sophie and me. The whole screen was now flooded with Liam Carter's name. "The heartthrob is here. Ah, he's so handsome. I want to slide down his nose bridge. Finally got my man Liam. OMG, so handsome." Licking the screen, JPG. Liam Carter, pale and thin, walked in with a big backpack, a huge suitcase in one hand, and a cute 5-year-old girl in the other. Liam smiled and said hi to me. After putting down his bags, he gently lifted the little girl, Ava, onto the couch. Liam was the only single guest this season, and the kid with him was a non-famous child named Ava, chosen by the director for being pretty, smart, and clever. Liam unzipped his backpack, pulled out a pack of Yoo-hoos, and walked over to Sophie, who was still glaring at me. He smiled gently and said, "Sophie, I happened to bring your favorite Yoo-hoos. Here you go." He acted super familiar with Sophie, which didn't surprise me. It was exactly how the novel's plot went. If I hadn't woken up, I would have exploded right then. Before coming on the show, I had gotten an anonymous envelope with photos of Liam in Khloe's car, and of Khloe hugging Liam. Liam was also an artist at Khloe's company, a top actor, but the two of them never seemed to hang out privately. Getting photos like that out of nowhere, I couldn't fully believe they were together. But here on the show, seeing how close Liam was with Sophie, it was a different story. Sophie usually didn't like people knowing she loved drinking Yoo-hoo. In the original book, I didn't look closely and immediately believed the photos, convinced something was going on. That started my downward spiral as the villain. I would have banned Sophie from drinking the Yoo-hoo he gave her, but the more I tried to stop her, the more she would have wanted to drink it, causing a huge scene and making the audience hate me even more. But now I was awake. Since Liam wanted to hang out with Sophie, I quickly moved out of the camera's view. I stepped aside to keep drinking my Yoo-hoo and scrolling on my phone. The live chat was full of love for Liam. Wow, I never knew Liam was so sweet and such a gentleman in real life. I was watching the stream earlier and saw Sophie wanted a Yoo-hoo. He comforted her right away. You know, if Sophie's stepdad was the gentle heartthrob Liam instead of that brain-dead pretty boy, the picture would be so much nicer. I'm kind of starting to ship Liam and Sophie's father-daughter vibe. I was speechless. In front of the legally married husband, they wanted another man to win her over. Who were the real brain-dead ones saying such messed up stuff? So Sophie wasn't wrong, Liam wasn't wrong, and I was the only one at fault. No matter what Sophie and Liam did, the audience adored them and only insulted me. Fine, I was a lovesick idiot. I deserved it. Annoyed, I started playing a game on my phone. I had already moved away, but then something heavy landed in my lap. Liam had tossed the pack of Yoo-hoos to me. Sophie's too shy to take it. You can hold it for her and give it to her later. Liam was still smiling, his tone still gentle, but his eyes were clearly cold. I looked at Sophie, confused, and she glared back at me. What was up with this little devil? Why was she suddenly going off script? Ethan, you're the adult. You shouldn't be so immature as to steal a kid's snack. If you really want it, just wait and buy some yourself after the show. Liam is so right to call him out. This guy is such a pig, stealing a kid's snacks. Why even give that guy screen time? Just let us admire our amazing Liam. I picked up the Yoo-hoos and firmly pushed them into Sophie's hands. Here, they're all yours. If you run out, just ask him. I'm sure he'd be happy to keep buying them for you. Liam's eyes lit up. He lovingly put a hand on Sophie's head, his face full of fatherly affection. Of course, Sophie. Anytime you want one, just tell Uncle Liam and I'll buy you as many as you want. I stood up and walked out of the villa. I can't beat you people, so I'll just walk away. There were no official tasks for the day. It was mostly about filming the guests traveling and arriving. For those of us who got there early, the crew had arranged meals. Except for me. I ignored the plot and just played games all day. Sophie spent her time with Liam and Ava. By evening, all the guests had arrived. We drew lots for rooms, and Sophie, Liam's group, and I ended up in 2 rooms next to each other. Each room had 2 beds. I had been gaming most of the day, and after washing up, I lay in bed and kept playing. At 10:30, Sophie came back to the room. Without stopping my game or looking up, I asked, "Why are you back?" According to the plot, after Liam rescued her with the yoo-hoos, she was supposed to fall for the gentle male lead, sticking to him all day and dreaming of him becoming her dad. And since I, the side character, hadn't tried to mess anything up or drag her back, she should have completely forgotten about me and just slept in their room. So why did she come back on her own? After I asked, Sophie was quiet for a long time. Taking a quick break from my game, I looked up and saw the little girl standing in front of my bed, her tiny fists clenched, her pretty face tight as she glared at me with resentment. I was confused. What's wrong? Who owes you money? Why didn't you come get me? This is my bed. Why did you want me to sleep somewhere else? The little girl yelled, her eyes red and filling with tears that she fought hard to hold back. You were never like this before. Ava is so childish and I had to play with her all day. I thought you would come get me. But no. All you care about is your stupid game. And why did you let me drink a stranger's yoo-hoo? Weren't you afraid I'd get poisoned? My mouth twitched. I don't think it's that serious. My teacher said not to take food from strangers. You're my stepdad and you didn't even try to stop me. How can you call yourself my stepdad? Didn't I tell you? Well, until you're divorced, you're still my stepdad. After shouting, she huffed, turned around and trotted off to take a shower. I was baffled. Why the sudden change? Didn't she used to hate me being her stepdad? I felt like I had missed something. So I paused my game and opened my phone to rewatch the live stream. I saw that of the yoo-hoos Liam had given Sophie. She hadn't drunk a single one all day. She played dolls and games with Ava, but you could tell her mind was elsewhere. Liam tried to talk to her, but she brushed him off and didn't touch any of the food or drinks he offered. Right before she came back to our room, she had returned the yoo-hoos and all the other snacks to Liam. Thank you for being so kind, but my teacher said kids shouldn't take things from strangers. Liam's face went stiff on the spot. Sophie, your mom and I are very, very close friends. We're not strangers. My mom said a married woman can't be very, very close friends with a single man. You and my mom might have been close before, but she's married now, so you can't be close friends anymore, just regular friends. Otherwise, my stepdad will get upset, and if my stepdad gets upset, my mom will punish me. Thank you again for looking after me today. Good night. I'm going back to my room now. Sophie even gave Liam a polite little bow before leaving. Liam's expression must have been so bad that the cameraman couldn't help but pan away, robbing me of the chance to see his priceless face. And honestly, Sophie's little speech completely flipped the tone in the comments. Amazing. Such a well-raised kid with great values. After hearing what Sophie said, I feel like I've wasted 10 years of my life. I'm not even as mature as a child. I almost started shipping the other guy. I'm so ashamed. JPG. I've never even seen Sophie's mom, but I'm already in love with this woman. It wasn't just them. I was also blown away by this side of Sophie I'd never seen before, but I was still confused. Wasn't Sophie supposed to fight me at every turn and get along perfectly with Liam like a real father and daughter? Why the sudden change? Was it because I didn't turn into a villain and cause trouble? Isn't the rebellious phase supposed to happen in the teens? Can it start at 7? Was it because I didn't stop her, and in fact fully encouraged her to go to Liam, that she rebelled by sticking to me instead? Looked like the butterfly effect was in full swing, and the rest of the plot was likely to change too. Sophie finished her shower and came out in a set of cream-colored cotton pajamas. The little girl looked fresh, but her expression wasn't great. Her rosy cheeks were puffed out in a pout. As she walked to her bed, she looked at me with a face that said, "You know you were wrong, don't you? Even if you apologize, I won't forgive you." Like a proud little princess. I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. She got into bed, turned her back to me, and pulled the covers over her head. I sighed, got up, took a limited edition doll out of my bag and walked over to her. "Don't you usually play with this before bed? Here, I brought it for you." Sophie huffed and ignored me for a few seconds before finally reaching out and snatching the doll to play with. I sat down on the edge of her bed. "Look, you've seen it yourself. Your mom has always been pretty distant with me. Even after we got married, I'm the one doing all the work. I'm tired now. I don't want to chase her anymore. All I want to do now is work hard and make money. Even if your mom and I split and I'm not your stepdad anymore, if you don't hate me, when did I ever say I hated you?" The tips of the little girl's ears and her cheeks started turning red. I couldn't help but smile. "All right then. If you don't hate me, let's be friends." I gently patted the blanket over her. "It's settled. Now you go ahead and play, friend. Sleep when you're tired. I'm going to play a few more rounds." Sophie stared at me, looking totally lost and confused. I went back to my bed, lay down, and turned on my phone. "Friends, my assloo.jpg. 20 years from now at Sophie's wedding, she'll point to a gray-haired man in the audience and say, 'This is my childhood friend, Elmo JPG.' Even though Sophie looked so lost and pitiful, I just can't hold it in anymore. Let me laugh first. I went and covered the camera. Even though it was a live stream, we were allowed to cover the cameras at night. Don't cover it. Don't cover it. We want to watch. Please, I'm begging you. I want to stay up all night watching the cutie and the big goofball sob. Watching more and more viewers flood into my stream. I was totally confused. Why were they abandoning their beloved heartthrob Liam to stay up all night watching a hate scandal-ridden D-list nobody like me? And who is this big goofball they were talking about? Me? They have no taste. I'm a perfectly clear-headed, intelligent man. But I had to admit, ever since Sophie came back, the comments in the live chat had gotten way more normal. I played my game while Sophie changed her doll into 2 new outfits before getting ready for bed. Aren't you going to sleep? My hands didn't stop after this round. But after one round, I couldn't resist starting another and then another and another. To avoid bothering her, I pulled the covers over my head, but the screen quickly fogged up, so I poked a small hole in the blanket for air and kept playing. It's midnight. Why are you still playing? I was at a crucial point in the game and had no plans to sleep. I tried to calm her down. Just one more round, then I'll sleep. That's what you said an hour ago, friend. Can you not bother me? This morning when you were playing with your dolls, you told me not to bother you. I didn't. Right. So we have to be fair. So now you don't bother me and you go to sleep, okay? But I didn't stay up all night playing with dolls. The kid had a point. Before I was fully awake, Sophie was there again. Get up and make breakfast. The show isn't giving us meals today, just ingredients. We have to cook for ourselves. Just a little longer. Between playing games and thinking about my messed up life as a side character, I had gone to bed too late and couldn't get up. I don't know how much time passed before Sophie woke me again. If we don't go now, the other groups will take all the ingredients. Then I'll skip it. You can get some from another group. Sophie left. But before I could fall back asleep, she was back. Get up. I made breakfast and you have to eat all of it. Such a determined little girl. I walked into the dining room, still on my phone, and was almost blinded by the fancy East meets West breakfast spread on the table, especially in front of Liam and Ava. There were fresh dumplings, hand-pulled noodles, freshly baked egg tarts, a pomelo peeled down to the fruit, and a fruit platter arranged like art. The other parents had also made breakfast for their kids. Liam, I can't believe a guy like you can cook so many delicious things. Liam smiled, pressing his lips together. I started cooking young, so I'm used to it. So, Liam, you must have woken up really early today, right? It took me an hour just to make a sandwich and a fruit salad, and I barely made it even though I got up at 6:30. I'm a bit rusty. Heh, I got up at 4 a.m. I love kids and want to give them the best. I also enjoy cooking. And these are all things Ava loves and are good for her. When I have my own kids, I'll do this for them often. I love Liam. I love him to death. I want a capable husband like Liam too. His kids would be so lucky. I want to be his kid. But isn't it exhausting to wake up that early to make breakfast? Sacrificing a little sleep for someone you love is no big deal, right? No big deal? Then why do you want to be his kid instead of a parent like him? I couldn't wake up that early every day just for breakfast. This just adds another reason to my fear of marriage and kids. Why does love have to mean giving up yourself? If that's the only form it takes, count me out. I'd rather be single forever. Sophie had made toast and heated up some milk. I ignored the parents' talk about early morning cooking, sat down at the table, and quickly finished the must-eat breakfast mission Sophie had given me. I'm suddenly finding Ethan's slacker friend parenting style pretty appealing. I might be becoming a fan. I also really like his dynamic with her. He's caring when he needs to be, and playful when it's time to have fun. It's relaxed and happy, which is great. Same here because I'm just as lazy as he is. Ha 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 ha. Oh well, thank you so much. Because of what Sophie said yesterday, Liam was a bit embarrassed and didn't go near her much today, but he still sent Ava to play with Sophie and invited Sophie to share his breakfast, both of which she politely turned down. This was a slow-paced reality show, and with several guests from rich families, the director didn't dare push too hard. The tasks were mostly just eating, drinking, and playing. There were actually no tasks scheduled for the morning at all. Seeing that the parents had woken up so early, the director, always the considerate suck-up, wanted to give the guests a chance to rest. But as soon as breakfast was over, the parents, led by Liam, went back into the kitchen to start making lunch for their little ones. Soon, I was busy just like everyone else. I was busy catching up on sleep. Sophie stopped me. Aren't we going to make lunch? I'll do it after a quick nap. Really? Trust me, friend. I swear on my ex-girlfriend's future marriage. I will definitely get up and make lunch in an hour. Sophie frowned. You had other girlfriends before my mom? I didn't answer, just dodged around her and ran back to the room. Kid, you've been tricked. I'd bet my life savings that the ex-girlfriend he's talking about is Sophie's mom. You win. Ethan said on a show before that he's only ever had one girlfriend, his first love, who is now his wife, Sophie's mom. Haha, at least someone gets me. And so for lunch, Sophie made a simple noodle soup and had to call me 4 times to finally drag me out of bed to eat it. I was too embarrassed to even look at Sophie while I ate. And you have the nerve to ask my mom for a divorce. You're so lazy. If you were alone with no one to take care of you, you'd starve to death at home. That would absolutely, definitely, positively not happen. When I'm not slacking off, I'm actually pretty motivated motivated. Besides, for the past 6 months, wasn't I the one who woke up early every day to make breakfast for the two of you? But right now, I had no leg to stand on, so I didn't dare argue back and just kept my head down and eating my noodles. Sigh. This little kid is stressing herself out trying to take care of her clueless dad. The comment above is so damn accurate. Haha. My dad just beat me. And when I came back to my room and saw the stream, I couldn't help but laugh. My dad thought I was being disrespectful and came in to beat me again. Cry. JPG. My dad is even worse. He yelled at me and kicked me, calling me crazy for forgetting to hang the laundry he asked me to do because I was watching the slacker. Now it smells and has to be rewashed. You should have your dad watch this stream and learn the reverse slacker parenting method from this guy. I wish I had a kid like that. Look how capable she is. The kid is way more diligent and reliable than you are. Ha ha ha. I was furious reading these comments. How dare they call me lazy? I was very diligent when I took care of Sophie and her mother. If it weren't for the circumstances, I would have wanted to take care of them forever. Forget it. You can't force what isn't yours. The noodles looked plain, but they tasted great because Sophie had borrowed some rich chicken broth from another dad to make them. Khloe wasn't just strict with her work. She was incredibly strict with this child too. She couldn't slack off in her studies or her hobbies. And even though they had staff for daily chores, Khloe made her learn to be prepared, to take care of herself, to be independent, and not to rely too much on others. I heard that when Sophie was 3, not even tall enough to reach the stove, her mother ordered her into the kitchen to learn how to cook. Eating the delicious noodles for the first time, I thought that having a daughter like this wouldn't be so bad. The thought had barely formed before I startled myself. I had promised myself I would stay away from them. I couldn't let one breakfast and one lunch change my mind. Hang in there, Ethan. You can do it. Let's go. That evening, the director sent out a task via our phones. Visit a local specialty food street in the city. However, after this task, Liam, who'd previously just been cold to me, now looked at me like he wanted to kill me. Because halfway through the task, my viewer count, which had been just a few tens of thousands behind his, had more than doubled his by the end. To be honest, I was baffled. He was an A-list actor. The last few digits of his follower count alone could crush my entire fan base. He had heavily promoted this show, and tons of his fans had been camping in his live stream since it started. Logically, no matter how popular Sophie and I got, we shouldn't have been able to beat him. But reality was cruel. We beat him. I thought back carefully, but couldn't remember anything particularly interesting that Sophie and I did during the task. I remembered that after getting the task, feeling guilty about eating 2 meals she'd made, I told Sophie before we went to the food street that she could order whatever she wanted and it would be my treat. Then when we got to the food street, the little girl couldn't decide. I was much better off. I didn't have that problem at all because only kids make choices. Adults, of course, want everything. So I took Sophie and we started conquering the street, following the rule of trying everything without exploding. We agreed to buy one of everything and split it. We really just had a very normal outing, walking around and eating some snacks, and now I was genuinely treating her as a friend. I bought a grilled sausage, carefully broke off a small piece with the skewer to taste it, found it a bit spicy, and gave the rest to Sophie, patting her on the shoulder and saying, "Friend, this is good. It's all yours." I bought the most expensive milkshake from the ice cream shop and even paid extra for an empty cup. I poured a little to taste it. It was delicious, and I accidentally drank the whole thing. Then I saw Sophie's disappointed face, felt ashamed and embarrassed, and quickly bought her a new one. But she said she couldn't finish it, so I poured a little for her and drank the rest myself. It was only with the milkshake that I had a bit more. For everything else, I swear I only took one bite and gave the rest to the kid. I swear I really didn't steal her food this time. It was mainly because I had already drunk 2 milkshakes and was too full to even think about taking the kid's food. So no, there was no way we were doing something shameless like using Sophie to get sympathy viewers. But the live chat in our stream was indeed much livelier than before. Ha 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 ha. I'm dying. Ethan is the biggest snacker I've ever seen. This goofball. He finished everything he liked and gave all the stuff he didn't like to his daughter. LMAO.JPG. JPG. So relatable. When I say I'm afraid of gaining weight, my boyfriend does the exact same goofy thing. Haha, amidst this friendly roasting, the number of viewers in our stream started skyrocketing by the second. It was unbelievable. The next day, my live stream was almost shut down for a violation. Someone was spamming my comment section, accusing me of buying fake viewers. But before I could even react, everything went back to normal, and all the comments accusing me of buying followers vanished completely. I heard a commotion from the next room. I was just about to leave my room when I overheard the director at the door yelling at Liam, telling him to stop causing trouble, or else not just the show, but his entire career would be ruined. Liam promised he would never do it again, and begged the director to plead with some important person to forgive him for his stupid actions this time. I was shocked. The director used to treat Liam like royalty, and now in the blink of an eye he was daring to yell at him. That level of growth was worthy of worship. After the director left, Liam came out a short while later. He seemed like a new person. Last night, he looked like he wanted to murder me, and now he was suddenly calm and friendly. When our eyes met again, his gaze was as still as water, as if he had seen through the vanities of the world and was ready to achieve enlightenment on the spot. I had to resist the urge to run up to the director and give him a big thumbs up. I remarked to Sophie, "The director of our show is a badass." It wasn't the director. It was clearly never mind. If you say the director is a badass, then he's a badass. As long as you're happy. This little girl. Who did she think she was talking to? So disrespectful. The task for the final day was to hike a mountain with breathtaking scenery along the way. Sophie and I took tons of photos, and her photography skills improved by leaps and bounds. I'm confident that when she's older and in a relationship, she'll never be the one who takes bad pictures. Once we reached the summit, it was time for the emotional wrap-up, the legendary, all-important tearjerker segment of the show. The hotel garden at the summit had been decorated by the crew to look like a wedding venue, romantic and beautiful. To enhance the effect, a screen on one side of the stage displayed the live comments, as the director was determined to make the viewers cry along with us. Soon, each group would be joined by a new mystery guest, usually a parent, or if they were unavailable, another relative or friend. I had invited Olivia, Khloe's executive assistant, to join Sophie and me for this final segment as a friend. Although Khloe and I were married, to be honest, I had seen her assistant far more often than I had seen Khloe herself. Besides, I had important business with Olivia. I needed to get Khloe's schedule for the next few days from her so I could corner her to talk about the divorce. She was too busy. When it was our group's turn to give our tearful speeches in the middle of the red carpet, Olivia hadn't arrived yet, but she had messaged me saying she was close, so Sophie and I went first. The emotional background music started playing. We stood face to face, and I had to strain to make my eyes even a little bit red. But the viewers in the live chat, who had just been getting emotional and crying along, suddenly changed their tune. The scene is so emotional. The music is so emotional. But why do I burst out laughing the moment I see this big goofball? Ethan trying to hold it in. JPG, hold it in. You can't laugh during a scene like this. You're killing me, haha. I'm a helpful person. I'll laugh for you, haha. The tears I had worked so hard to summon were gone. I had to fight to hold back my laughter, my lips trembling as I condensed the long emotional speech I had prepared. Sophie, after the show is over, will you still want me as your friend? Whether you want to or not, I've decided you're my friend. By the way, about that promise you made at the food street to treat me to the most expensive meal, when are you going to make good on that? Give me a specific time. Next week or next month? Sophie's expression was one of pure disgust at my mood-ruining antics. I felt a little wronged. It wasn't my fault. It was those trolls in the live chat spouting all that nonsense. If I didn't get this over with quickly, I was going to give myself an internal injury from holding in my laughter. Sophie took a deep breath, her pretty little face serious. Can you not divorce my mom? I froze with that one sentence. No matter what chaos was erupting in the live chat, I couldn't laugh anymore. Her words made my heart ache a little. I want you to be my dad. I like you being my dad. I really mean it. If you're divorcing mom because of me, then I'll change. I won't say you're annoying anymore, and I won't lose my temper with you. I promise. It's not because of you. You're a good kid, the best in the world. Any other person would be lucky to be your dad, and they would love you and be proud of you. Then are you afraid that I'll bully your and mom's new baby in the future? I can explain. I'm not her biological daughter. You're her only boyfriend, and she's only ever been engaged to you. She's never had a child. My biological mother was her sister. She's my aunt. I was stunned for a moment because the novel was so long. Even though I had my epiphany, I had forgotten some of the details. If Sophie hadn't brought it up, I wouldn't have remembered that she was the daughter of Khloe's sister, who had passed away from an illness years ago. Because Khloe's sister was an unmarried mother and the father was unknown, Khloe had adopted Sophie to give her a better life. But that didn't change the fact that I couldn't stay with Khloe. She didn't love me, and I couldn't force it. It would only make her unhappy too. If you have a baby, I will never bully them. I'll even help you take care of them, and I'll love them very much. The divorce is between your mom and me. It's about the two of us and has nothing to do with anything else. But don't worry, even if we get divorced, I'll still come visit you and hang out whenever I can. Didn't I say it? We're going to be friends for life. Sophie's face fell, and she lowered her head again. After a while, she looked up again. Okay, I was being selfish. My mom is really mean to her husbands, and she never spends time with us. She's like a machine that only knows how to work. If you want a divorce, then go ahead. In the future, if you don't find someone you like, then wait for me. When I grow up, I'll marry you. Before she could finish, a deafening roar drowned out all other sounds. It was a helicopter. I was actually witnessing a real-life alpha CEO arriving at a show in a helicopter. Cameraman, get a close-up on their face. I want to see which badass CEO this is. Two women emerged from the helicopter, Khloe and Olivia. Khloe, walking in front, looked like she had just come from work, dressed in a snow-white silk blouse and a tailored suit that cinched at the waist. She was tall, slender, and exuded a powerful aura. The moment she appeared, the live chat exploded. Such a handsome woman. Damn, she's so freaking cool. So cool. I'm at a loss for words. It's true. When a woman is this cool, men don't even stand a chance. 1 minute. I want all the information on this woman. Sophie and I were still in a daze. Khloe was always incredibly busy, never stopping for a moment. Why would she show up at a variety show? If the helicopter's roar hadn't been so painfully loud, neither of us would have believed our eyes. Sophie was calmer than I was. She ran toward Khloe first. Mom, it's Sophie's mom. This is insane. Ethan, you big idiot. Are you really going to divorce her? If you do, let me have her. Me too. Me too. Before Sophie could finish, Khloe walked right past her. Then we both noticed noticed that the screen of the phone in Khloe's hand was playing our live broadcast, which meant she had seen everything. Me talking about divorce and Sophie agreeing to it and then promising to steal me away from her. Sophie and I looked at each other in silence, each lighting a candle for the other in our hearts. Khloe was known to only read financial reports, never watch entertainment shows. Sophie ran in front of Khloe again, her face a mask of grim determination. Mom, you're not allowed to be mean to Ethan. I ran over too, pulling Sophie behind me. I'm the one who wants a divorce. It has nothing to do with Sophie. This is between you and me. Why do you think I married you? I was speechless. I had to admit I really didn't know why she had agreed to marry me. I only remembered that I had pursued her for a very long time, trying every day to find a way to see her, bringing her food and sending her a share of anything good I had. On holidays, I would send her gifts, though she never accepted them. Just a month ago, I got drunk, stopped her car, climbed inside, and proposed to her. I vaguely remember bawling like a pathetic idiot, telling her I loved her so much I was going to die and crying all over her collar. When I woke up, we were already legally married and had held a simple wedding reception that same day. Then she left on a business trip and hadn't come back until this very moment. I was clueless. Yeah, you've always been so cold to me. Why did you agree to marry me? I agreed because it was you. Why? Khloe took another step closer, and her light orchid-like scent enveloped me. What do you think? Do you think you could have gotten my iMessage without my permission? That you could have gotten into my company to bring me food and gifts? That you could have stopped my car? Climbed inside? That you could have had the chance to tell me you wanted to marry me? This was the first time she had ever said so much to me. The alpha's long con. I ship it so hard. But doesn't she have a mouth? If she likes our goofball Ethan, why didn't she just say so? Sigh. What a shame. But she's beautiful, cool, and rich. Who needs a mouth? Khloe took another step, pressing herself almost into my chest. I stumbled back in a panic. So if what she was saying was true, she actually liked me, which was why she let me chase her and ultimately married me. Then what about the male lead? What was the deal with Liam Carter? Couldn't be that I turned into a villain and ruined my own marriage just because I suspected something between her and Liam, right? Besides, it was a fact that she had always been cold to me, and those photos of Liam in her car and her hugging him proved she wasn't as innocent as she claimed. I calmed myself down again. Anyway, I want a divorce. Just assume I don't like you anymore, and we can part amicably. I've already made plans. From now on, I'm going to work hard and make money. Who needs a marriage, a wife, or a daughter? They'll only slow down my money-making. Khloe stared at me intently, a flicker of hurt in her eyes, but she was always good at controlling her emotions, and she quickly composed herself. If you want a divorce, I respect your decision. Before we finalize it, I have one request. Go on. I know I haven't been good enough, and that's why you're disappointed and want to leave me. I'm just asking you to give me one more year. I will try to be a new and better wife. I've been working non-stop for the past month since the wedding precisely so I could clear my schedule to spend a proper honeymoon with you. I was not satisfied. A year? No way. Then half a year? No. Fine. 1 month. Just give me 1 month. If you still insist on leaving after that, I'll agree. Even a month felt long. Give me 1 month. And when we divorce, I'll give you $100 million. Before my epiphany, to prove I wasn't after her money, I had begged her to have a lawyer draw up a prenuptial agreement stating that if we divorced, I wouldn't get a single penny of her assets. So I never expected to get any money from her in a divorce. Now she was offering $100 million. And my heart skipped a beat. Just 1 month for $100 million? That sounded like a pretty good deal. Did the plot even matter anymore? But after a few seconds of hesitation, Khloe spoke again. $1 billion plus all of my personal shares in the company. All for you. My money is tied up in company projects, so the most cash I can offer right now is $1 billion. Think about it, just 1 month. I wanted to call a lawyer to draft the contract right then and there, and so I shamelessly agreed because damn it, she was offering way too much. Could any human being refuse that? No. Fine, I admit it. I'm just a shallow, pretty boy living off Khloe Anderson. As soon as we got home, Khloe transferred the $1 billion to my account and tried to transfer the company shares to me as well. But I found it too troublesome and didn't sign the papers. A month later, several of Khloe's company projects turned a profit, and she transferred another $1 billion to me. Month after month, Khloe kept transferring money to me. And so, in the end, the divorce never happened. One day, I threw those photos of Liam in front of her. Khloe was completely unfazed. And you call yourself a Photoshop expert in front of Sophie every day? Can't you tell these are fake? And you know what? Upon closer inspection, she was right. And after that parenting show ended, Liam's contract with the company was terminated, and he had no further contact with Khloe. Liam was supposed to be the male lead, but because I made different choices instead of becoming a villain and following the plot, he, the male lead, lost his cool. He couldn't control himself and tried to oppose me, falsely accusing me of buying followers. But he never expected Khloe to expose him, and in the end, he couldn't win against me. The following year, I accidentally got Khloe pregnant. I had planned to wait another couple of years, and I strongly suspect Khloe orchestrated it, but I have no proof. After she got pregnant, she bought me a luxury yacht as a gift, so I decided not to press the issue. Besides, someone had promised in front of millions of viewers that she would help raise the baby, so I willingly resumed my life as a simp for the Alpha CEO. I started helping Khloe manage the company, began cooking her 3 meals a day again, and doted on her constantly. And Khloe, true to her word, treated me better and better. I was so happy I completely forgot about the whole divorce thing. The next year, our daughter Lily was born. Whenever Sophie was on break from school, our house looked like this. Sophie, your sister's hungry. Go make her a bottle. Sophie, your sister's crying. Go comfort her. Sophie, your sister pooped. Change her diaper. And then Sophie would go, muttering to herself again. Didn't she just go? Dad, Lily's poop is a bit dark this time. Do you think she's dehydrated? Should we add some electrolytes to her formula? After her sister was born, this once cool little princess had become an expert at taking care of her. Oh, and there was one other major change. The girl who used to be as cool and aloof as her mother was now a total chatterbox.